Felicia, Felicia, hayoya tonanlie. She'll make you cry, she'll make you talk and sing. There's no one like Felicia, Felicia. I can't go banana. I can't go banana. She really cares. Hayoya tonanlie.
The Felicia Show, where extraordinary people say extraordinary things. This program contains material that may offend sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Esme was a girl but thought she was a boy in a girl's body. Now she is 90% a man, Estefan.
Yeah, no, I knew from when I can remember. I can only remember from age 7 upwards.
Jackie was born a man and became a woman.
Known actually that I am a woman, just stuck in the wrong body.
Sex changes. Is it possible in our society? Should it be done?
Yeah, boy.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. We are talking about transsexuals. Should people change their sex? These are not some freaky stories. Yes, South Africa, it does happen right here. We applaud the people who are willing to come here on the show and share their extraordinary stories. But why would anyone want to change their sex? We're going to find out. Is gender not determined by birth? Does God make mistakes? Some would ask. We're talking to people who say, I am stuck in the wrong body. We are also joined in studio by medical experts who will guide us through this complex process. Now let's talk to our first guest, Estefan, formerly known as Esme, a girl who was interviewed right here on this program in 1996, 2 months before she was to have her operation to change her sex from female to male. Estefan, please join us. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you.
Fine, have a seat here.
Thank you.
Estefan, how are things going?
Going well. We're getting there.
So you brought me a lovely album here.
Yeah, I brought you the album, yeah.
Brought me an album here, but I think as I looked through the album, most interesting was little Esme. Little Esme.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's me.
that's Esme.
That's me. All those are me. So my sister, myself. That's also all me. This year I should have been a boy.
So you started then dressing up as a boy,
Yeah, I was brought up as a boy.
but they first used to dress you as a girl.
My mom used to dress me as a girl, yeah. I mean, my mother and my father got divorced. Then I basically took over the boy role in the family, and then I started becoming like a boy.
Then you
So
started,
everything started changing as a male.
and that's when you knew
Yeah.
I am not a girl.
Yeah, no, I knew from when I can remember. I can only remember from age 7 upwards. But since then, I remember.
Do you blame your mom for
No, not at
doing
all.
that?
No, it's not her fault at all. I just think I was born that way and I was supposed to be a boy.
Happy with the decision?
Yeah, no, very happy with the decision.
Some would question and say, you know what, God does not make mistakes. And you are Christian, I know.
Yeah,
Have you
I
ever asked yourself those questions?
That God made mistakes? No. No, I've always felt in my heart that it's the right decision. I think certain people make decisions because they've got a partner and they want to do it for a partner's sake, or they want to do it for whichever reason they want to do it. A lot of people, I think, that's why Dr. Colin and them have to do a very certain degree of really investigating that person, because some people do it for the wrong reason. I feel I've made the right decision. My final operation was unsuccessful. But I'm still not giving up. I'm still hoping for one day to have my final operation.
Okay, how far did you go with the operation? Tell us roughly what happened.
Okay, well, I had everything. I had what I call my 5-in-1, where I had my hysterectomy, my oophorectomy, and all those things. And my scrotum was created, where I did that and where I did the implant in my arm. That was done in one operation of about 7 hours. And then 6 months later, I did the expansion for about 3 to 5 months. And then when the skin was ready, I was supposed to go for my final operation. Well, I went on the 16th of March in 96. And on my birthday, on the 20th of March, they told me that the artery collapsed. There was too little skin. They had to remove my final operation, my penis reconstruction. So that was removed then. Then in September, we had a flap put on my back, which I can show you the photographs of as well. But that's also just to create a penis, basically, for it. And Dr. Feynman and Dr. Lamont actually did it, because it will be, they use it actually for face reconstruction.
So now has the penis been reconstructed?
Well, I've got the flap on my back at the moment. To actually, it's a base of the penis. It will be the base. It's a flap like this, and then there's a tube in the middle. So what they will do is they'll take it off. At that stage, we're going to use bone from my shoulder, and then actually recreate the penis from there. But that would have been a South African first, because I haven't tried that before. But because I say there's not a lot of hair in your back and that skin, and there's a main artery in your back as well, which is perfect for the penis reconstruction. We said we're going to try that, but I just don't have the funds at this stage to try it. So basically, it's just the last bit that's out there. But I say a penis doesn't make a man. Not that everybody will agree, but in any case, but I don't think it's just about the penis. I think it's who you are and how you feel and how you see yourself. You know, so I mean, I've been like this since 1996. So it's a long time, and I can't say once, you know, if I could go for the operation, I would go for it tomorrow. If I could get anybody that would say, listen, yeah, let's try this flap, let's do this, let's go for it. Or like I said, what we must do is the doctors must start with the transplants, and if I see somebody in an accident on the highway, I'm going to stop, and if it's a guy on the right side, I'm going to cut it off, run to the hospital and say, let's go for it. So that's what I said, but so far they're not there yet. So I can't do that.
So it looks like you have your hands full. We're waiting for this one, huh?
So that's what I thought, but it hasn't worried me, and everybody at work and my church and everybody's accepted me the way I am. They don't see me as the females out there, all see me as a male.
I also see you as a man. Now I don't know whether it's because this has been some time that we've known you like this now, but you were desperate at one point, ended up in jail. Yeah,
I totally lost my sense of priorities. I basically only focused on my final operation, and I did anything I wanted to do, any and everything to actually get it done. And that I landed up in prison. I was in prison for 27 months. And basically, they must rather keep you in prison for your full sentence, because it's much better. Because when you come out, you're still in prison.
Well, you were arrested, obviously, for you trying to steal money to go and get the operation done. That's how desperate you are. That's how much you wanted.
Yeah, I wanted it so badly, and I lost my day and my night and everything. I just totally lost my senses. But the prison was a good thing. It's the best thing that could have happened to me.
They put you in the male section?
I was in the male section for 2-3 days, and then they transferred me to the female section because they said it would be too dangerous.
How did they know?
The clinical psychologist also, as a captain, also interviewed me and said to me, you know, and they looked at you and they say, because I haven't got a penis yet, they class me as a female, so I must go to the female side. So I was locked in a single cell in the female side for 27
months. And you refused to wear the female uniform?
Yeah, they gave me the male uniform, which was nice. It was like a tracksuit, a maroon tracksuit, pants, and then a white T-shirt or whichever T-shirt. In the end, they allowed me to wear my own shorts, my own shirts and everything, so it was nice.
I want to go to break, because after this I'm going to introduce somebody who has stood by you since...
For the last 2.5 years, yeah.
For the last 2.5 years. And I think many people marvel at why, what and how.
Yeah.
After the break, amongst all Estefan's trials and tribulations, he found love.
Penis is not everything in a man. Everything else about him is a man.
With unemployment so high, have you had to turn to prostitution? We want to talk to men and women who are or were involved in prostitution. Did you feel that it was your only way out? Call us right now on 011 476 8411 or email us at felicia@iafrica.com. The Felicia Show, where extraordinary people say extraordinary things. A dentist by day, Elvis by night.
We have a very unique show for you.
A doctor who shot to the top of the charts with her single. He's a no-nonsense bouncer with a voice like Barry White. A tough prison warder with an angelic voice. And a firefighter.
Silence is burning my
The unique and exciting talent of a doctor, dentist, bouncer, prison warder, and a fireman.
Well, we're talking about a very complex subject here, transsexuals, people who change their gender from male to female. But why do that when life is already so difficult? Why is the question many people possibly are asking. But joining us on the panel now is Verna Duplessis, Estefan's fiancé. That's what your letter said. And you go on to talk about your depression group that you guys met at.
Yes.
Do you know the full and true story about Estefan?
I do, yes. I've studied all his books. I've watched all his movies. I've spoken to his mom, his family, to him. I know everything about what he's been through.
You had a family before, 3 children?
I've got 3 children, yeah.
How are the children accepting the fact that they know? Do the children know?
No, the children don't know.
Wait a minute, we're on TV now.
Now they know, yeah. No, we won't let them see the program. They don't watch it.
But they have friends.
Yeah, I know, but we have to tell them sometime. And the thing is, they all accept me as a male. They don't know nothing about my past and about my prison, that I was in prison either. I have spoken to Verna's older son, because we're actually very close. He's a bit of a rebel, but I have said to him in sort of uncertain terms that if he carries on the way that he's going to land up in prison, because we're trying to guide him into a different direction, everything. So I don't foresee us having a problem with him.
You have your finger on something that you want to show me.
Yeah, that's a flap on my back at the moment. That's how it was created.
Yeah.
And that's how it pulled open, and that's how it looks at the moment. And that is something that I want to ask Dr. Peter Coetzee and them. If they ever want a guinea pig to try this operation on, since it will be a South African first, Dr. Lamont said he'll assist where he can. I'm there to be your guinea pig if you're prepared to help me with it and see if we can work something out, maybe to have my final op done with this flap on my back.
If you talk about guinea pig, I think the principle here is that we use tissue from anywhere in the body where we can get a lot of tissue. So basically, maybe it hasn't been used specifically this area of the body for organ reconstruction. No, but the principles involved is not really guinea pig. I think it's microsurgery, and a lot of people are doing that in this country. But surely we can talk about that.
Oh, great, thanks. Thanks, Nat.
Thank you. Let me just go back to the love story here. And I'm going to ask you questions that I don't want to embarrass you, but I want you to just be honest with me. When you are with a man, you obviously are looking for different things. What are you looking for?
The man Estefan is, a penis is not everything in a man. Everything else about him is a man. The way he treats me is a man. And you don't need that he doesn't need that to show me he is a man.
I know here you do say that he is loving, caring, helpful, giving, thoughtful. There's definitely no indication that he was once a female, even in the most passionate times. Depression. Why were you guys depressed? Obviously, I understand why you went for depression. Verna, what depressed you so much that you even had to go to a depression group, and that's where you met, ironically?
Yes, I've been suffering from depression for 3-4 years. I went through a very bad divorce where my ex-husband just left me in the lurch with my 3 children. 2 of them have got learning disabilities. So it was tough with them and tough making it through on myself.
The whole thing about hurting yourself, cutting yourself, have you managed to get over that?
I haven't cut myself for almost a year now.
You know, for that.
From a psychiatric point of view,
yes.
It was the first time I ever heard of this.
The cutting, the self-mutilation.
Yeah.
You see, self-destructive behavior in many different forms can be part of a mood disorder, usually depression. it is related often to severe traumatic events that happened in the past. Were you ever subjected to bad things in the past? We know that if people are subjected to different forms of abuse, that this kind of self-mutilating behavior happens in later life. There's a very complex mechanism why this happens, but it is a very common phenomenon.
I bring this up because obviously I would love to do a program about it so we can find out there's so much suffering, so much silent suffering out there, that as I do this program, I learn new things every day.
If you suffer from this disorder or know of someone who does, please call us on 011 476 8411. We want to talk to you.
Looks like we're moving on.
Yeah, we're moving on.
I really pray that all goes well. Anything you want to both say?
I would just like to know or appeal to any doctor that is prepared to help, even my medical aid. I'm on medical aid, believe it or not. But even them, because the medical aid doesn't look or try and help you with your sustenance. Sustenance I battle to get at this stage. I can't get sustenance at all. And you have to pay for that cash, and you just don't have the funds for that. You know?
But I think, you know, when I read your letter, it says, my first dream above all is to serve God.
Yeah.
My second dream is to get a better job, back into what you know well, and that is the sound. As a sound engineer,
and video editing. And
editing. That's exciting world of television. And thirdly, it becomes his third option. My final one is to get an operation.
Yeah, my final dream is to have that operation.
To finish off your operation.
Just to finish it and have it done.
Verna, what do you want to tell people out there about your husband-to-be?
I think anybody who has a gender reassignment is a person. People don't need to mock them or stare at them or tease at them. And there are people that have their rights. And I just ask for people not to discriminate against them and to accept them into society as human beings, because that's what they are.
You know, Felicia, what I want to say is there's only a few of us out there. And from female to male, there's hardly any. But from male to female, there's a lot of changes. But we're only a small...
we're going to be talking to someone
We're only a small community, so whoever wants to talk to either me or email me, they're welcome to. But we must stand together and fight for our rights, because we are human beings. Some people say we were not born like this, we're just making it up. But if they go deep into your roots, they'll actually find out you're not just making it up, because who in their right mind would make this up and go through all the hell that we go through? It's not an easy step.
I think we need to be very frank with each other. As much as we sympathize and empathize with her, in our books,
Who's her? She's still her.
She is her.
Obviously, you are Home Affairs. Let's do Home Affairs, and we're going to talk about that later.
But the point of the matter is, she is.
No, my ID book and everything has changed to male. So why am I a female then?
ID book changed to male?
Yes, I'm a male.
But everything not changed yet?
I haven't got everything changed, but my ID, my birth certificate, everything says male.
Well, maybe I can come in.
We need to check that out.
You see, we as doctors would write a letter that a person has been irreversibly changed once the primary sex organs have been removed. It is not to say that a person is a man when they have a physical organ in place, because and this is a very important legal point. Once you've been irreversibly changed, you can't go back, and therefore you have been reassigned to the gender of your choice. And that's a very important point that I think that has to be sorted out legally as well.
Can we talk about that after the break? That's quite interesting. That is very interesting. But I really would like to thank you again for sharing your story. I'd like you to go back and sit with us in the audience there.
Oh, well, thanks.
We want to talk further. And Verna, congratulations for finding the man of your dreams.
Lucky. Very lucky.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Felicia.
I've always felt known actually that I am a woman just stuck in the wrong body.
We are talking to people who opted to change their sex from male to female and from female to male. Why? How does it impact on their families, for example? Joining us is Jackie, who says she was born a man and she went through 3 very successful operations to become a woman. In fact, when I saw Jackie, I said, when was she a man? Jackie, join us. Look at this cute chick. Look at this cute girl, sexy. Jackie. How you doing?
Fine, thanks, Felicia.
Oh, heavens. Someone says, wow. Huh? Hold it now, hold it. She's just been engaged. Christopher, you going to allow them to do that?
No.
No. All right. So, you see, Christopher is right here. Huh, Christopher?
Yes.
You're protective here. This is your property.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. How you doing, Jack?
Very well, thanks.
I'm doing fine, and thanks again for coming to see me in the dressing room and saying all those lovely things to me.
It was a pleasure. It was an honor for me.
You are so sweet. Jackie, Dr. Colin and Dr. Kutse worked with you, but why would you have wanted to change from being a male to now being a woman? You did the full operation, huh?
Yes, I did. I've always felt that, known actually, that I am a woman just stuck in the wrong body. So, yeah, I decided to change that.
From childhood, you're wearing dresses?
Yes. It was quite difficult because growing up in a very conservative family, being born a boy, you're expected to be a boy, and you are, your parents try and raise you, you know, as a boy, which you're supposed to be. But eventually you have to get to terms who you really are, and you realize that to have a successful and happy life, you have to change to become who you are from inside.
Has the family accepted it now, though?
They are in the process.
Are you and Christopher having a successful sexual life?
I believe in no sex before marriage, so that has to wait.
But you just got engaged?
Yes, we did.
When was that?
We actually got formally engaged last night.
Oh,
just last
congratulations. Now your biggest gripe is with the Department of Home Affairs, huh?
Yes.
What do you want them to do?
Well, my understanding of the law at the moment is that according to the law, your sex is according to your chromosomes. So if you're born male and the chromosomes depict you are a male, they say that you can't change sex. But us being here, we basically prove that it is possible. And for me, it's more important what you are on the outside and on the inside spiritually than what your chromosomes say. Nobody sees your chromosomes. So I feel that, yes, they should allow people, especially in the new South Africa, democratic South Africa, we should be allowed to choose who we want to be.
I want to talk about the operation, but first, Christopher, do you want to comment in any way?
No.
Anything you want to say? Tell us about this beautiful woman.
She's very wonderful to me. I met her last year with a friend of ours. She sits here at the back. And I want to tell her I love her very much.
Oh. Hey, actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
Oh, boy, this is romantic. Oh. You can hold on to this. So you ready for the big day?
Yes, I'm ready for the big day.
But when you found out what she had done, didn't that discourage you? And how did you break it to her? To him, rather?
It wasn't a problem to me. I accepted from the first day.
She told you from the first day what had happened?
Yeah, my mom told me before, and I didn't believe it.
How did your mom tell you? How did your mom know?
The friend told my mom, and I didn't believe my mom.
Oh. And when you met her, she looked like a normal woman?
Yes.
Everything was in place?
Yes.
Doctors, tell me, how could everything be in place? 3 operations.
Yeah, in many respects.
Wait. I like that. What is happening?
In many respects, Jackie represents everything we want in a transsexual patient that is a good candidate for reassignment surgery. There was only one problem. She was this scared, locked up, hiding individual completely in the closet when she came to see me. She was, I think, very, very scared of societal influence. And was just trying to live her life as quietly as possible, but had been living in the role of a woman for how long, even before you came to see me?
I've only started.
That was a while already. I remember some months.
No, doctor. I came to see it. It was only starting.
And then we said, Jackie, this is the start of what we call the real life test. You want to be a woman, you live as a woman. That's the first test. For a psychiatrist, that is the acid test. You want to test whether the patient is able to make the transition for themselves, because they all believe that the operations will change them. It's not the operation. They have to change their own lives. They have to live, interact, relate as the gender of choice. And so Jackie's case says, you want to be this, you be it. And you've got to face your work, you've got to go to work and tell them who you are, and she did it. And then started living as a woman and working as a woman, and actually shifted jobs sort of halfway through the therapy, went to work in a new branch of the bank, where it made it a little bit easier to arrive as a new person. And then came the big thing of, Jackie, you've got to have relationships. No, but I can't, I haven't got all the parts. I said, it's not the parts that relate, you relate. And so the relationship came as the whole process went on. We don't see that as an absolute prerequisite, the relationship part, but we would want the person to interact with people of the opposite sex to their chosen sex.
Then the operation entails, Doc, can you please explain, Dr. Kutsi?
Felicia, basically, it can either be done in a 3-stage or a 2-stage operation. And to make it very simple, the obvious thing is to get rid of the male genital organs. And then secondly, you need to make them female, the visible part of a female. I'm sure you're aware that the most dominant characteristic of a female is the upper part. That's it. We give them breasts. Thirdly, the operation to reconstruct the new vagina. Now, that can either be done, I think the two main methods are by using the skin of the male genital organs, of the scrotum and the penis, and we call that flaps, or we use the gut, the large bowel of the body.
Well, we're going to continue. After the break, we speak to a transsexual and her mother. How does it affect the family? That's the question. Stay with us. Suddenly, my son wants to be a girl.
Because if he wants to be a female, it's for his own belonging.
The hardships of raising a child who is wheelchair-bound. Are you a parent whose child is a paraplegic or quadriplegic due to a sporting or a car accident? What are the hardships involved? We want to talk to you. Call us right now on 011 476 8411 on Felicia. Our next recording is on the 18th of June. We'll be talking about paternity, paraplegics and quadriplegics. If you wish to join us in studio, please call us on 011 476 8411. Remember, seats are limited, so please call soon.
Well, we've been speaking to Jackie, who had a sex change operation, and she is with her fiancé now, Christopher, and they're going to be getting married very soon. Christopher Cuthbert.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next month.
Boy, you don't waste time, huh? You don't waste time. Men of action. Now we're joined by Cassandra, who was a male, and now you turned female.
Felicia, I'm actually still a male, you know, but I live my life as a female. I want to become a complete female. I had some hormone problems when I was 13, and my breast started growing, you know, and I turned, you know, basically female. It's just the sexual part that's still male, but I want to become a complete female.
Then I asked Philippa, your mom, Mom, you know you had this son. All of a sudden, my son wants to be a girl. What is the problem? I bet you question and ask yourself these night and day.
Yeah, well, it's not my problem, because if he wants to be a female, it's for his own belonging.
You're still calling him he?
Yeah, I'm still calling him me, because he's not a female yet. The time when he's getting female, I'll accept it.
Is it tearing the family apart?
No, not really. You know, my family have went through difficult times accepting it, but they did accept it.
One thing I want to ask the doctors, any black people who tend to do this?
My response to that is that the brain has no colour. A person of colour's brain functions in exactly the same way. We even know this genetically. I mean, there's absolutely no difference. It's just the amount of pigment in the skin. So the simple answer is there are black transsexuals. We've seen them. I have 2 in therapy at the moment in the evaluation, not even the preparation, but evaluation phase. And at the clinic, we've seen 1 or 2 patients. Unfortunately, I think Dr. Kutsia can speak to that. Many of them had logistical problems to come to the clinic.
Yeah, surely there are fewer black patients. For instance, at our clinic, we've got now about 50 or 60 patients that we've treated. And I would say I can remember about 2 or 3 of them were black. So there are a smaller number. I must be honest, I'm not 100% sure why. And surely that's an area for research.
I think it's also partly...
too.
Well, I don't think it's a money question. Money in as far as they have to travel to come and see us, they live in outlying areas. It's difficult. I think it's the accessibility to mental health care that is probably the determining factor, and societal pressure and stigma in their own societies. I think in black culture, gender issues are often much more, although in Afrikaner families it's just as bad, I think. But in any case...
I see a lot of similarity, in fact, between the black and Afrikaner community.
Oh, yes. So I think those are the reasons why these patients do not come to the fore. But you see them on the city streets.
Doctor, I was involved with a relationship for over a year. I was a gay.
Okay.
And nobody knows it. I'll always keep it as a secret.
Yes.
Why are you saying you're leading a
heterosexual life?
I don't want to say normal, heterosexual life.
That's right. But
where's your girlfriend?
I was back in Stellenbosch.
Oh, okay.
But I can't, like me, I can't live a normal life and share my feelings and you know.
Are you asking me why do people not come out and say what they feel?
Yeah.
That's very simple to answer, is because they have certain set ideas about the reactions of their families and society.
That's what happened to me.
And they're very often right, that they can be extreme prejudiced. If you ask Jackie what it felt like to go to work and to say to them, people, I arrived at work this morning as a woman, as a man, but I'm going to be a woman from now on. I mean, can you describe the anxiety that it felt, what it felt like in the beginning?
How did you do it, Jackie?
It was hectic. Like Dr. Collins said, you know, I arrived at work. At the stage, people always knew, well, I was living a gay life. You know, it was easier just to be a gay person than being a transsexual. So everybody was getting to terms with me being gay. And then I came out and I said, but this is not me. Who I really am is I'm a woman, and that is who I am going to be.
That, by the way, is a very important distinction for us as psychiatrists, is to evaluate every patient. There exists a condition called cross-gender homosexuality, where a person mimics the opposite sex purely to be accepted in that role so that they can then love another man. If you're a man already, you dress in female clothing so that you can then love another man. And that is the wrong reason to go for gender reassignment. We help those people with therapy to come to terms with their gender orientation so that they can accept that they're gay and carry on with their lives. Transsexual people very clearly state that they are not gay because they want to be loved as the sex of their choice. They do not want to be loved for their male body. A homosexual person wants to be loved for the male body by another male. And you can see the fundamental difference. So to put it academically correct, transsexualism is a variation of gender identity. Being gay is a variation of your sexual orientation. To whom am I attracted? And that's a fundamental difference.
But at school, any problems?
Okay, Felicia, I experienced a lot of problems in school, especially when my breast started growing. You know, I was in the children's home for my high school years, and I've been kicked out of the children's home because of the fact that I was looking like a woman And because of the fact that I'm basically gay, you know, because I believe I'm a woman. I don't say I'm gay, I'm a woman. You know, and I've been kicked out of high school and children's home because of that fact. You know, I've been experienced terrible, terrible, you know, judgment around this.
Finally, Philippa, do you want to say something quickly?
No, not really.
Mother's pain.
I will accept him just like he is.
Philippa, it is hard.
It doesn't matter what he would want to be, a female or a male. Because I'm still loving. It's my child.
I know.
You want to be a woman, so be a woman, live a woman, relate as a woman, dress as a woman, work as a woman. There must not be a single male thing in your life left if you want to do this reassignment.
A dentist by day, Elvis by night.
We have a very unique show for you.
A doctor who shot to the top of the charts with her single. He's a no-nonsense bouncer with a voice like Barry White, a tough prison warder with an angelic voice, and a firefighter.
Silence is burning my
The unique and exciting talent of a doctor, dentist, bouncer, prison warder, and a fireman.
We are talking about transsexuals and gender reassignment, which is the operation they have to undergo physically to change their sex. In South Africa, following from a 1996 South African Law Commission report, the realignment of the sexual orientation bill will allow anyone who has had a sex change through surgical or medical treatment to apply to change their birth registration. But this bill is still waiting to be approved. And that's what we're going to be talking to Mr. Mashokwe about, Mr. Leslie Mashokwe. In fact, as we say that, how far are we on it?
The bill is currently on the minister's table. It will go through the processes, hopefully, during this parliamentary session this year still.
Because I know you were arguing with the doctors earlier during the break, saying, no, man, you can't change people's identity.
The point is what we're saying in the draft legislation. We're saying that person has to have a sex organ of the opposite sex. And my contention is that in the case of Stefan or Esme, he does not have that kind of sex organ. Therefore, in the books, we would say minus. That's why I said we will have to check that out. Let's look at the other one. Who's gone through the successful operation. Jackie is the name, if I remember. We hear that that person has now a different sex organ. Therefore, we don't have a problem with that. All that lady has to do now is to wait for the law to take its course through the processes, portfolio committee and all those stages, and then we can start talking to him and change the birth certificate accordingly.
Well, it looks like we have to just work faster then and get Estefan the right organ, because we have experts right here who've also joined us on panel. Dr. Franco Collin, who is a psychiatrist who evaluates psychologically whether a patient is ready to do a gender reassignment. And we also have Dr. Pete Kutsie, a plastic surgeon who performs the gender reassignment operation. Well, we were having all these debates during the break. Let's just continue. I like the question that a gentleman asked back there. Could you ask that question again, sir?
After they've done the transaction, don't they get patients that come back having mixed feelings, wanting to be back on being a male or being a female again? And if so...
The simple answer is, if we get that, it means that I didn't do my work. I spent hours and hours listening, asking, probing questions, and you can ask the guys that have been treated by me how difficult the questions often are and how intimate, where we test whether a person is absolutely ready. The way that we do that is the so-called real-life test. You want to be a woman, so be a woman, live a woman, relate as a woman, dress as a woman, work as a woman. There must not be a single male thing in your life left if you want to do this reassignment. The rules internationally state that a patient have had to live in that role for 2 years, in which we test whether they can actually handle it. To test your question, that they don't have regrets, that they don't have regrets.
You guys fiddling with what God already has established? You're born
Felicia,
a woman, you're born a man.
What would you then say about a cleft palate? Isn't that what God made? he made a little oopsie. And we should leave the guy with the cleft palate just as they are, because God made them like that. Don't you think we should leave them? And you see, if I ask you that paradoxical question, this is not the cleft palate, but a cleft in the sexual functioning of the brain. We cannot change that back. We cannot change the brain. Therefore, in this case, we will change the body to make the person a psychologically well-adapted person. And you know, God made us, the doctors, as well. We do research, we determine what we do.
So you're his messenger.
Yes, we are. Right. And we are more instruments than messengers in a way, because, I mean, we believe that what we do is scientifically and medically correct. That's how we motivate what we do.
As a principle in medicine, we can say that there should be no discrimination on any grounds, not between sexes, gender, color, and not between diseases. A common cold is just as important disease as transsexualism or cancer. That's the way we should answer it.
You had a question for Home Affairs?
Mr.
Mashokwe
said that it's we should leave the law to take its course. But at the end of the day, you are dealing with human beings who we've got our lives. We want to live it. I've already come out of the closet. I went through this very strenuous process. I went through the operations, everything, to come this far, just to be told that I must wait for the law to take its course.
Unfortunately, the process of legislation takes a very long time. It's got to go through, the ministers got to agree to it, it's got to go to cabinet, it's got to go to the portfolio committees, you know, of the NCOP and of the legislature. So it's a very long process. And we cannot just change the National Population Register because you've done an operation. Unfortunately, we've got to be guided by the law that says now you can change the sex status of this person from A to B. So we must, as much as we sympathize with you, we cannot just do it like that.
My question to you is, my ID and everything has changed, my birth certificate, everything's changed to male. You say that's not right. They're going to change me back to a female now?
I was talking about the current draft legislation, which says very clearly you have to produce a sex organ of the opposite sex. And my understanding as of now is that you don't have that sex organ. And therefore, according to the new act, depending on how backdated it is going to be, you may be affected one way or the other. Of course, the gentlemen here have informed me that they're going to try and influence the legislation one way or the other.
The South African Society of Psychiatrists...
Wait, but he says, as he says, he has a...
But what I want to say is I don't have a vagina of a female, so I've got a scrotum, so it's just I don't have the penis bit.
Felicia, the South African Society...
It's got to be a sex organ of the opposite. That is what the draft legislation says.
A scrotum?
Sex organ, that shows this is now man, you know, that's it. That's the one that I have.
He has the most... Well, he does have one of the
scrotum, don't you?
He does have one of the two most important ones, though.
South African Society of Psychiatrists are constantly vigilant of legislation, draft legislation published in the country. You see, legislation has to be guided by the medical aspects of the situation. The Harry Benjamin standards, according to which we do this work, that has been formulated internationally, will allow a patient to choose the level to which they want to be reassigned. You can, as a woman, have your breasts removed, your uterus, and then not have a penis, and actually live comfortably with a prosthesis, a penile prosthesis, for the rest of your life, as you would with a artificial limb. So the patient is allowed to choose that level. Obviously, we guide the patients and we really advise them according to their psychological functioning. So we would comment very severely on that stipulation and probably negotiate and give our comments saying we don't think that's fair and it's not guided by the international standards. So legislation has to be guided by international medical standards.
Interesting debate. I wish we could continue forever. Very interesting. Unfortunately, we've run out of time here. But in closing, I just want you to just give us some words of wisdom. In closing, let me start off with you, Dr. Kutsi.
I think the audience and everybody has seen how desperate these patients are.
Oh, yeah.
We are there to help these patients, be they... be they private patients, be they hospital patients, everywhere there are facilities to help them. We've got a multidisciplinary clinic. We think that's the right way to do it. We would make a plea to them to stay virgin. We want them to go through the whole process, from the psychiatrist, the hormones, and then eventually the surgery, and not to go for the short way of having a small piece of them removed or something else, because that will solve the problem that we have with the changing of the ID, where the patient can be fully changed to the opposite sex.
Just to come in here, it's not just a problem of whether you want to get married. It's far further than that, because walking around with an ID that's not suiting your gender or the appearance, whenever you go into banks or you want to open up accounts, it will always reflect as the sex of your ID.
So when you get into a bank, they open the ID and they look at you and say, are you sure this is you?
Oh, absolutely.
The computer program does it. They type the ID in and the computer program says, male. Male?
If you want to open up an account,
it will be male because the information that we have there,
yes,
and it will
is
reflect
male.
as the sex of your ID.
Yes, and that's the problem.
Any way to resolve it?
The draft legislation is there to even go a step further to show that we empathize with these people. The rights that they had as girls, so to say, when they move out to being boys or male to female, they keep those rights. I mean, if you were married and you had some maintenance coming that whilst you are still a woman, when you change to being a man, you keep that. Those kind of rights are there to show that we were really a progressive Department of Home Affairs.
Doc? Last words.
My last words. I think we are dealing with people with a lot of suffering. And I think people like you and this program serves to bring their cause to the public's attention. We beg for understanding, acceptance and tolerance, and to get rid of stigma and prejudice.
I'm going to use that as our last words. And thanks again. You could not have said it better. I really appreciate it. Until next time.
Thank you.